Hello all, this is a tutorial video on how to do multi-step inequalities. This is for my Algebra 1 class. We're going to go through some examples so you can see how these work. The first example I want to do is 6 minus 3p is greater than or equal to negative 9. Now we're going to go through the solving process the same as we would an equation. So we want to get rid of everything on this side except for the variable. You always work with the thing furthest away first. So this 6 right here, which is positive, I want to make go away. Well, to make it go away, I simply minus 6. Of course, you have to do it to the other side as well. Remember, whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other to keep it balanced. So these two things cancel out. That minus on the 3 stays with the 3. I'm going to drop down the symbol, greater than or equal to still. Negative 9 minus 6 is negative 15. My next step would be to get rid of that negative 3 right there. That is multiplication, so I need to do the opposite. I'm going to divide by negative 3 on each side. So I've got the variable p over here. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. And that rule we learned the other day, whenever you divide by a negative on each side, you flip the symbol around. So p is actually less than or equal to 5. Want to graph that? Here's 5, next one up is 6, next one down is 4. It's going to be a closed circle on the 5, and you're graphing this way. So the solutions are 5 and less. All right, let's do another one. This time let's switch up where the variable is. I'm going to do 9 is less than or equal to negative 12 plus 6 times r. Again, I'm going to solve it the same way I would in equation. First, I want to get rid of that negative 12. I'll get rid of the 6 later. Negative 12, the opposite would be to add 12. You have to do that to each side. Over here, goes away. 9 plus 12 is 21. Is less than or equal to, I bring down this 6r. It's positive, so I can just write 6r. That is 6 times r. So I want to divide by 6. And I'm going to get a decimal answer, and you know what? That is just fine. That is just fine. We're allowed to do that. 6 goes into 21 3.5 times, so it will be 3.5. 3.5 is less than or equal to r. I did not have to flip the symbol because that 6 that I divided by on each side is not negative. So it goes like this. Of course, r is on the right side of the equation, so if that ever happens with your solution, I like to take a minute and turn the whole thing around. That way it's easier for me to see which way to shade on my graph. So if 3.5 is less than or equal to r, that means r is actually greater than or equal to 3.5. All right, so if I were to graph that, I'll put 3.5 in the middle. Let's count by halves. So the next one up would be 4. The next one down would be 3. I'm going to have a closed circle, and I'm going to shade greater than. That's why it's nice to flip the symbol so that you can see exactly which way to shade. All right. So we've done ones that require 2 steps. Let's do a couple that require more than 2 steps. So those real long ones. Again, it's going to be the same principles that we use for equations. We just have more work to do. So let's try negative 4 is less than or equal to 4 times 6y minus 12 minus 2y. So this is a big problem. We're going to take it one step at a time, just like we would an equation. So I'm going to focus over on this side because there seems to be a lot I can do over there. First of all, I can distribute that 4. So 4 times 6 is 24y minus 4 times 12 is 48. I'm going to drop down that minus 2y. All right, Now I've got a couple like terms. I've got 24y here and then minus 2y there. I can put those two things together to get 22y. I still have the minus 48. Okay, I'm going to drop everything down because I think I've done all of the things I can do over here. Now it's time to start working on both sides. This minus 48 I'm going to undo by adding 48. That goes away. Negative 4 plus 48 should be a positive 44. Drop down the symbol, and I've still got 22y. I'm going to simply divide now. Divide by 22, divide by 22. That is not negative, so there's no reason to flip the symbol. 2 is going to be less than or equal to y. 22 goes into 44 twice. And because y is on the right-hand side, before I graph, I'm going to take the whole thing and flip it around. This just helps me see which way to graph. So if 2 is in the middle, 1 up will be 3, 1 down will be 1. I'm going to have a closed circle on the 2 and shading greater. All right, cool. Let's do one more. Now, just like equations, inequalities that have variables on both sides, once in a while you'll get something with no solution. So I want to do one like that. So let's say I've got 9 plus 2x is less than 7 plus 2 times x minus 3. Whew. A lot going on in that problem, right? A lot going on. Let's take it one step at a time. First of all, looking at both sides, it looks like I can distribute over here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I've still got the 7. This becomes plus 2x. This becomes minus 6. I've still got the 9 plus 2x over here and the same symbol. All right, it looks like I've got some like terms over here I can combine. I've got a positive 7 minus 6. Those two together gives me just 1. I still have the plus 2x less than 9 plus 2x. You might be able to see that it's no solution already, but I'm going to go ahead and do a final step. I'm going to minus 2x from each side. Over here, that completely goes away. You've got 9. Over here, this completely goes away too, so you've just got 1. So we have the inequality that 9 is less than 1. Is 9 less than 1 ever? The answer should be no. This is no solution. 9 is not less than 1. If you ever get something like that, no solution. All right. I think I'm going to do one more example just for good measure. I'm going to do another one where there's variables on both sides. Let's look at 4x plus 3 is less than 3x plus 6. All right. Variables on both sides. Let's take care of that first. So I've got 3 x's here. I've got 4 x's there. I'm going to take away those 3 x's. Yeah, make sure you take it away from its like term. Goes to 0 here. 4 minus 3, I still have 1x left. And I've still got the 6 over there. Now I'm simply going to minus 3 from each side. That goes away. I have 1x, which is the same as x. 6 minus 3 is 3. Now if you want to quickly write x is less than 3 without the 1 there, that's fine. To graph that, I'm going to put 3 in the middle, 1 up, 1 down. I'm going to have an open circle on the 3, and I'm going to shade less. All right, I hope this tutorial has been helpful.